Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling video podcast here on YouTube in Daily Motion. And yeah, this is the Money in the Bank 2017 review. This was a very interesting show. Very interesting thought processes from a lot of different people, and yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you my thoughts on the entire show itself. First of all, the pre-show match with the Hype Bros and the Colognes. Not too bad. Not too bad of a match. You kind of got what you kind of expected. You know, somebody's just coming back from a knee injury, which, by the way, that happens a lot tonight. But the Colognes work over Zack Ryder's knee a bit, and that won't be the last time you hear of that throughout the entire night, or just in the terms of other matches as well. And yeah. Decent match, Hype Bros go over, Rough Rider, kind of what you expected. So, this brings us to the beginning of the show, and everything they decided to do. First of all, they started it off with the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And in the terms of working the ladder match, yeah, there wasn't that one big spot in the match itself, but the usage of the ladders and everything that they did inside of the match itself, I thought was really well done. And they each of the women kind of just worked their, they just worked really well together inside the match. And I thought the match as a whole was really well done. And then you get to that finish, and this is where a lot of people are obviously going to probably differ on a lot of different aspects of how the match ended. When after it looked like Becky Lynch was about to get the briefcase, James Ellsworth comes in, tips over the ladder, and instead of Carmella then going up and getting the briefcase, James Ellsworth goes up there, gets the briefcase, and drops it to Carmella. First of all, nice catch. Just because, nice catch. Whenever someone catches something, it's just nice catch. But this is where a lot of people are going to differ on a lot of things. First of all, a lot of people are going to be probably very angry on the aspect that this was supposed to be the first ever Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Why wasn't it one of the women grabbing the briefcase and taking it down, to get the historic spot? Why do you have Ellsworth getting it and then dropping it so Carmella can catch the briefcase? So you're going to get that aspect of it. You're going to get this other aspect, and I see both sides here. I do see both sides on this one, and I kind of fall... There's a piece of me that wants to play off of the storyline aspect and wait to see what they're going to do on Tuesday. In every sense of the word, because they say that, yeah, something's going down Tuesday. We're going to address this, everything in that sense, and we'll see where they go with it. But for me, I also see this portion of it. They are a heel group. The two of them, Ellsworth and Carmella, they work together as heels. So, okay, technically cheating to get the victory in that sense. But even better yet, in the terms of their actual relationship, and I've heard this one too, in the terms of their actual, on-screen relationship, Carmella is the dominant force. So, essentially, Ellsworth is doing things just for Carmella. In that sense, and she is the dominant force. She is the dominant entity in that on-screen relationship. So, essentially, James Ellsworth is basically her errand boy. So he had to go up there and do an errand for her, or something in that sense. And I totally see that one. And if that's how they're going to play it off, obviously they don't have it play off on TV here, but that's how they play it off, is like, oh, he's just my errand boy. So I didn't want to climb the ladder, and I just told him at some point in the match to just go up there and get it, or something in that sense. So we'll see where they go with it. I'm kind of hoping they play it off. If they don't decide to strip her of the briefcase or something in that sense, which is something that they could possibly do, and then kind of redo the match itself, then I'm not gonna lie there. If they have it played off that Ellsworth is nothing more than her errand boy, and that was just an errand that he had to go do, get the briefcase and drop it to her, that's good storytelling right there. Obviously it's over a couple of shows. It's just an aspect that I will go off and say, it was the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I feel like they should have had a woman take it down. They should have had Carmella take it down. Take the actual briefcase, climb the ladder, and everything in that sense. Get that scene in there for not just the aspect of doing everything. It's the history story moment, the history moment for them, and they have it end that way with that kind of a screwy finish. Now it would have been they could have still played off the cheating aspect of Ellsworth helped her up the ladder or something to go along with it. As long as she took the briefcase down, I think it works out best at that point. But I see the other portion of it to go along with it, and we'll see how it ends up playing off. So this brings us to the Usos and the New Day, and that was quite a match with a screwy finish. Dang it, another screwy finish. And another moment where the Usos work over Kofi Kingston's knee. See the theme of the night. And by the way, the theme of the night is pretty much work over the knee and screwy finishes. Yeah. That's basically that was a lot of the theme of the night here, and like I said, but this match itself, I thought they did really good. I kind of expected it to end with a screwy finish, but it's kind of weird with how they decided to do the first match with a screwy finish, and then this match with a screwy finish, and then now that I think about 4 out of 6 matches, because they did get a Breezango match in there later on, 4 out of the 6 matches kind of had screwy finishes in some way, shape, or form to go along with it. But they did good teasing of the New Day potentially winning the tag team titles, everything in that sense here. And I thought a lot of this match came off really good. Of course, Big E had to do that spear throughout the entire... that spear through the ropes that he does all the time that scares the crap out of me whenever I see it. It looked like the New Day was going to win. They hit the midnight hour. The Usos basically get out of the ring, and they get themselves counted out. So yeah, screwy finish. Like I said, that's what I was kind of expecting in this match. Matter of fact, in the terms of predictions for every match that I could predict, I got them all right. Not too happy with the finish. Not exactly happy with the finish of the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Kind of expecting it with the Usos and the New Day in that one. And I know this probably sounds a little bit different than how I was on live reactions, because me and my buddy who were watching it at the time, we were just having a blast. We were having a blast, kind of either poking a little bit of fun at it or everything in that sense. So it kind of seemed like we were less disappointed than what we probably were in some way, shape, or form. So this brings us to Naomi versus Lana. And this is where I'm going with it. For the most part with this man. This match is not great by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not horrible. It was not bad. Lana did some things in the ring that made her feel like she could hold her own inside of the ring, everything in that sense. Again, working over Naomi's knee. There's that one again. But there was also times it's like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Like, she had a hold of Naomi's leg, and she was just kind of like, it was supposed to try to hurt her knee, but it looked like it did nothing in there, in any way, shape, or form. And that was basically how that match, it was like just how the match was going. It just seemed a little bit off, a little bit awkward. Now, here's the thing. Lana's first singles match. We hadn't seen anything. Personally, I felt like she did at least a decent job inside the ring here, and it held her own a bit. Some stuff was very awkward, everything in that sense. that spinebuster powerbomb type move, if they were gonna have Naomi kick out of that, then why really do that move? I feel like that's supposed to be her finisher, and it's already been kicked out of. So they already make it look weak. Maybe not necessarily weak. It's like it's only going to get you a close near fall. So maybe they have a different finisher in mind. I don't know. But yeah, Naomi Lana works over Naomi's knee for most of the match. Carmella comes out and teases that she's going to cash in. I like the teasing of the cash in for the Money in the Bank contract, where she basically walks up to the timekeepers like, I'm going to hand this to you. Nope. No, we're not going to do that yet. We're not going to do that right now. Or anything in that sense. Which caused Lana to get distracted. Obviously, I guess you would be distracted a bit. Someone's music just randomly playing in the middle of your match and everything. But yeah, that allowed Naomi to basically counter the second attempt at that spinebuster powerbomb move. They don't really have a name for it yet, and lock in that one submission hold, which they also don't have a name for yet. The one that she won with at WrestleMania, and got the victory. She kind of teases or taunts Carmella to actually cash in the Money in the Bank, which she decides not to do. So you get just a tease of a cash in tonight, and yeah, that was pretty much it on that one. So up next, I'm not gonna lie here. Fashion Files, or Fashion Vice now. Oh my God, the references were so good. The references that they had, the Paulie dangerously cell phone, and that actually got commented by Paul Heyman, was great stuff. They make reference to Coliseum home video inside of there with a VHS tape, and it was just a lot of very good references and good comedy from both from Fandango and Breezango throughout this entire thing. I love the segment. The videotape basically teased that they were going to have a match later in the night, and that the perpetrators of who attacked Tyler Breeze and trashed their office were going to be revealed. I was like, okay. It's like, I'm kind of excited for this one. We could get somebody different, and boy, I'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that one later. So this leads us into the WWE title match. Yes, the WWE title match happened before the Money in the Bank. The men's Money in the Bank happened. So there goes that cash-in opportunity. So Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton. They had the legends at ringside. Just a bunch of the legends of like the St. Louis area. Like you had Sergeant Slaughter, Ric Flair, Greg Gagne was there, of course, Cowboy Baba, Orton. The only one that I didn't really recognize, and I like to the point that I don't, because I'm horrible with names, by the way. I don't remember his name because he was the only one I didn't really get. But he was like the most amped out of every one of them, and it looked great. So you had Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton. And Jinder Mahal worked over the knee. Why is he not working over the arm to stop the RKO? I don't know. But this match in general was a very dominant match for Jinder Mahal. In the terms of like the early on portions, like it went on for a while that Jinder Mahal basically was in control of the offense throughout the entire match. Working over the knee, doing things in that sense, having ring psychology. The aspect in this match, I think, it really worked on the sense of the crowd was definitely into it. I know it's Randy's hometown, but face properly cheered and the heel was properly booed. And guess what? That's a good thing whenever you see that. And in the terms of the match itself, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a less one-sided affair at the beginning and everything in that sense, but it came off rather well in the end. I've kind of liked Jinder Mahal's matches so far, inside of everything to go along with it. And I've been talking about how we've had screwy finishes all night. You kind of get one here again, not in the full-on conventional sense of what is it? It basically you have back-to-back distractions, screwy finishes to finish off the match, like with Naomi and Lana, and then here with Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal. So the Singh brothers get themselves basically kicked out. They, after Randy Orton hits an RKO, they get the foot on the Jinder Mahal's foot on the rope. It looked like there was going to be a disqualification. Ref decides to just kick them out in the end. So instead of the Singh brothers just leaving, and lo and behold, someone using some logic, you're getting kicked out. You see so many people just dash to the back. It's like after they get kicked out. It's like, no. They sat there and they argued, and then they concocted a plan to try to distract Randy Orton, and they go after Cowboy Bob Orton and start, like, you know, pretending that they were going to beat him up and something in that sense. And you have Ric Flair just, like, ready at the whim right there. It's like, if they decide to throw a punch, I'm going to deck one of you guys. And, yeah, it was definitely a decent looking scene there. Randy Orton comes over and goes ballistic on the Singh brothers, destroying all of them, or destroying there's only two of them, destroying both of them, and, you know, performing that backdrop spot that he did from the Backlash, everything in that sense. RKO out on the ring, RKO through the tables, and it just came off. Like, that portion of it came off looking good. That was enough of distraction, and of course enough time had passed by for Jinder Mahal to kind of recoup, and then he gets in, Randy Orton gets in the ring, the Colossus was hit, and then 1, 2, 3, done. I actually kind of liked this match. I thought this one was pretty good. I actually did enjoy this match a lot more. So, actually, before this happened though, I have to talk about this. Before this match actually happened, even though I got through the whole Randy Orton Jinder Mahal match, this happened right after Fashion Files, and when I initially saw it on the screen, like, all of a sudden you just see, like, on the rampway, just like a bunch of hearts, just like, what's going on, and all of a sudden music starts playing, and then the names Mike and Maria Kanellis show up, and I marked the freak out when Mike Bennett and Maria showed up. They're going under, and I do kind of like, and the more I've seen this now, because I'm filming this a little bit later, the more I see this now, the more I actually like it. The aspect that they're using Maria's last name for the two of them. So you have, instead of Maria coming out saying that she is Maria Kanellis Bennett, she's just Maria Kanellis. And instead of Mike Bennett saying he's Mike Bennett, he says he's Mike Kanellis. So they're playing off this aspect that they're two lovebirds and everything in that sense. He has taken her last name because she's going to be the dominant force in the terms of the mic work, everything in that sense. Though Mike Bennett's not too bad on the mic either. And it will be an interesting way to see how they're going. A lot of people are already comparing this to a potential of, now that Miz and Maurice are on Raw and playing the whole dissension game now on everything, this is going to be SmackDown's variation of Miz and Maurice to go along with it. And they've kind of been playing this already in Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling. I didn't watch much with the Ring of Honor side, but I watched everything they did on the Impact side, and it was some good stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I liked what they had there, what they had going on there, and we'll see how everything ends up playing out with Maria and Mike Kanellis. It will be a very interesting way of going. So, this one leads now into Breezango coming out, and they were going to have their match, apparently, against their perpetrators. And it's like, people were thinking, it's like, oh, maybe they're bringing up a team, or maybe they're turning American Alpha heel, or something in that sense. And it was the Ascension. Thank everything that Breezango just won that quickly. That was such a down point to everything. They hype this up, and it just ends up being the Ascension, and of course then they build them up as being something that they've done, and then Breezango just wins. Which I am not angry with. I like Breezango and everything in that sense, but now it's like, yeah, we're gonna get these guys, and then we just lose in 2 minutes. Yeah, So poorly done. I did not like that one at all, in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, a little bit disappointing on that one. I'm not gonna lie. Though you could say that for a good portion of this show. It was a bit disappointing to go along with it. So this leads into the main event now. The Money in the Bank ladder match. So you have AJ Styles, you have Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke Nakamura, who gets attacked by Baron Corbin right at the beginning of his entrance. Good heel work, Baron Corbin. So he basically takes him, and he takes him out, and they actually keep him out for a logical period, at least a decently logical period of time. With the aspect that he got beaten up with ladders, a TV camera, everything in that sense. So Shinsuke Nakamura gets taken out. We don't see him until later on. And this main event match, oh my god, was a main event. It was great. From beginning to end, it was a lot of fun. Great spots. Sami Zayn coming up with some crazy spots, doing the sunset flip powerbomb off the top of the ladder off the ladder with Dolph Ziggler. Looked intense. You have a spot where Kevin Owens had the ladder propped in the ring like it was laying down, but it was still like unfolded, and Sami Zayn tosses him off the top rope and into the ladder, and the ladder just bent. And it was the one hilarity spot was that Sami Zayn tried to stand it up, and he was like, "That's not working." Ladder gone. And you also had a spot where he did like the I believe it's dragon suplex to Kevin Owens on the ring apron, which looked absolutely sick, and it was great looking. I'm not gonna lie to that one; that looked great. It gets down to the point, like you even have like AJ Styles coming out of nowhere off the camera to attack Dolph Ziggler off of the ladder with a phenomenal forearm. Just loads of great spots throughout the entire match. I think, yeah, Kevin Owens even gets basically like not complete Death Valley driver, but almost. It would have gone into AJ Styles' kind of like backbreaker type move. He did that on the ladder to Kevin Owens. AJ Styles ate the ladder through a choke slam by Baron Corbin. Just tons of great looking spots throughout the entire match, and it looked like Baron Corbin was about to pick up the victory right then and there. But then lo and behold, Shinsuke Nakamura comes back out, and lo and behold, he's selling an injury. Last time we've had somebody come back out in the middle of a match from injury beforehand, they weren't selling it that much. Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble in 2016. Yeah. So Shinsuke was kind of selling the injury. He eventually walks down to the ring. Baron Corbin was going to chuck the ladder at him. He runs under it, gets back in the ring, and just starts going wild on everybody. Kinshasas for everyone, all over the place with the exception of one person. And as soon as Shinsuke Nakamura set up the ladder, he had his hand on the ladder, and then on the other side, AJ Styles puts his hand on the ladder, and they just stare down. And yes, we want this match. We know we saw it in New Japan, but we want it to happen in a WWE ring. And it's like, so you're thinking, it's like, okay, what are they going to do? Just dash up the ladder? No. They take the ladder, they lift it, and it's like, no, we're fighting. We're fighting right now. It was a great looking spot, and they could have even potentially teased it to be like, oh, they're gonna fight a little bit, and then somebody, or it's like they're gonna fight for a little while, and then somebody just like ruins it before they start fighting, like Baron Corbin or something like that, which doesn't happen. They go, they have, they basically finish off the match. Both Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles just fight. They set up the ladder and everything. They're fighting up there, and then lo and behold, Baron Corbin comes back in, pushes them off, and picks up the victory. Great Money in the Bank. Proper winner of the Money in the Bank, I would say as well. I I'm not gonna lie, I kind of prefer the heel to have the Money in the Bank, just because that it's always a good way of picking up that picking up a little bit of heel heat and everything in that sense. Hopefully they get creative with their cash-ins this year. I've always been a big fan of the person with the briefcase creating their own opportunity. So basically coming out there and performing the beatdown themselves and then cashing in to pick up the victory. I've always been a bigger fan of that, but we'll see how they decide to do the cash-ins this year with everything. So overall, great main event. Everything else on this show is hit and miss because you had really good starts to those first two matches with endings that were very screwy and maybe made a lot of people not necessarily that happy with how the match ended out finishing. The Lana-Naomi match was okay. It was fine for what it was. We got to give Lana more time before we fully make a judgment on what she can do and everything in that sense. The Jinder Mahal Randy Orton match I actually kind of liked. The Breezango Ascension match was big letdown. The debuting of Maria and Mike Kanellis I thought was awesome. I like that. And yeah, that main event. Ooh, that main event saved that show. I'm not going to lie to you. Otherwise, you could probably chalk this one up to being a pretty bad pay-per-view. Not the worst one I've definitely seen this year, but definitely a pretty bad one at that point. But that main event, just like, yeah, that was good. That was good. I'm okay with that in the end. So, with that being said, everyone, that's basically everything for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view this year. So I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.